Hello and welcome to the Blackout Podcast, where I get to talk to amazing people who do amazing things. And today I have Lauren, aka PenDragon.
Hi.
Creator. You do this cool thing on your Insta. I freaking love your Instagram, by the way.
Thank you so much.
So let's start with the name first, PenDragon.
Sure. So my brand, I guess I would say, is called PenScratch and PenDragon. So I have an art business. So I do like portrait art, acrylic, charcoal, stuff like that. And then since 2021, I've been involved in the performing arts. So I do like silk fans, hula hoop. I dabble a little bit in go-go dancing. So basically just someone who like hypes up the crowd and like brings up the energy for dancing. But PenDragon comes from when I was born, my mom was going to call me Penelope. So I thought that was really funny. But she actually decided to name me Lauren after the doctor who delivered me, which was super sweet. But always Penelope was kind of always in the back of my mind. So I really wanted to like tie that in somehow. And I was like, oh, if my name would have been Penelope, I probably would have been Pen, as a nickname, right? Mm-hmm. So that kind of translated into like PenScratch and PenDragon. So.
And the art thing, we'll get to the flow thing, but the art thing, how did that start for you?
So I was always like really creative. Like I always just like wanted to like get my hands in like paint or crayons or just like paper and just, my mom was super supportive of it. So she was like, oh, I'm just gonna nourish her and let her do it. If she wants to draw on the walls, that's fine. Like I can clean it up later. And I had a really strong support system of mentors growing up. So people who were like art teachers or just creatives in general. I'm from Yarmouth, so I used to go to Bear River, which is a Mi'kmaq settlement out on the South Shore or North Shore, I believe. And my godfather, Rob, who owned a store called The Flight of Fancy, he was a big inspiration for me. He would paint photorealistic birds on rocks that he would find on the beach. Oh. So ever since like I was just little, like I've always been surrounded by really creative people. So it definitely like nourished a creative soul in me, yeah.
So you mentioned acrylic and stuff. Do you ever do anything digital?
Yeah, I do some digital as well. I'm currently trying to get my iPad replaced so I can do more of it. But,
oh no, what happened to the iPad?
So I just was working and I dropped it and I was like, awesome, it's fine. And then I dropped it again. Then, so I was like, oh, okay. So I got the screen replaced, but definitely needs a little bit of a tune-up so that it can be a little bit more sensitive.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to say I drop my phone all the time. And then a friend suggested, just get a thing, like a case.
Yeah.
But the one case that I swear on, it's called Spigen or whatever. But like, just check it out on Amazon.
Yeah.
Like my phone drops at least 5 times a day at least, but I've never had a cracked phone screen since I got it. And the thing is, like, it kind of covers the screen, but it doesn't cover. So it has like a thin layer around the screen, so you have all your real estate. But if it drops face down, your phone or your iPad doesn't do that.
Yeah, you're pretty screwed. I didn't have a case on mine, so that was probably like issue number 1.
Oh, okay. Well, we have to make sure you get a case when the new one comes. So, and then you decided to start a business. So there's a difference between I'm just going to paint my friends or my family versus, okay, I'm going to make it a business. When did that transformation happen?
So I started my painting business, I think I got really serious about it after high school. I moved away and I spent a lot of time just creating art, wanting to create more art, and then I would do like specials for like Christmas or holidays where I would do charcoal portraits for people so they could commission like their loved ones or a pet. And it was just really near and dear to my heart because portraits by far are my favorite to do because I feel like you capture somebody's essence. Like,
and then is that not difficult though?
It is difficult. It took many years to kind of like perfect it. And still there are people who I look at their art and I'm like, oh my God. Like, how is that possible, right? But I think it's mostly just an appreciation of art and always learning new techniques. And like, there's so many people who can teach me things, and I just feel like I want to be a sponge for all of that knowledge. So, yeah, so then I kind of, I started it as a business. You know, I would offer certain deals for people. And then during COVID, I kind of like let that take a back seat. I was like, I really wanted to create just for myself and not really post about it and just do it to get that enjoyment back. And that's when I really discovered flow props. So like my silk fans, a hula hoop. And, you know, we were in isolation, and I said, you know what, better time to move and like, you know, practice. And being in the festival and rave community for around a decade now, I was always surrounded by people who did these like amazing feats like fire breathing or circus arts, and I was always really inspired. And I was like, one day, like I would really love to do that. And you know, through the nurturing and support of people in the community, they have, yeah, I'm now a performer.
So COVID kind of led you to your one day.
It did, yeah.
But let's rewind to, I think, March 2020. That first shutdown. How was the experience for you?
So I live alone. So it was very, like, I think, like, we had been, you know, had it in the back of our minds for a while that something was going to occur. But it was really a time that, you know, I live alone. I've lived alone for a long time. I find a lot of comfort in that. But, you know, it wasn't leaving the house. It was home. And I said, well, you know, I'm going to try to make the most of what this is, as hard as it is, you know, and like we're all in the struggle together. So I really had to find something to focus on that, you know, elevated morale, that, you know, my friends and I could do like on FaceTime or something, like, you know, we could teach each other tricks or anything, or just practice. So yeah, it definitely got me through a lot of that.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, for me, I think, you know, it kind of happened and then transitioned to working at home. And then I think, what was that document? Tiger King?
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever saw
the
that.
Tiger King on Netflix. That took everybody by storm. It was like, I'm never going to financially recover from this.
Oh yeah, that was the line he said when the lady got
her.
Yeah.
I think they are transgender. I'm not sure what their pronouns are. It might be he, him. I'm not sure. I do know that the documentary, like they might have misgendered them, but I'm not too sure. But I know I don't think they go by she, her pronouns.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. But yeah, okay. I remember I was like, Jesus, someone is literally dying here. You're thinking of... Yeah, anyway, so just it was a crazy time. But yeah, I can see how that isolation will lead to creating. And then flow, okay, yeah, you mentioned that the rave community, is that like kind of what inspired you to take this?
Kind of, yeah. Like I think flow really stems from a love of movement. So like movement to me is medicine. Like it helps your body, you know, prevent stagnation. It's endorphins, it's flowing for a purpose. It's like, what kind of energy do I want to create for myself, for the people around me? Am I flowing for positive reasons? Am I flowing because, you know, I want to forget about something negative? It's almost like a form of meditation, I think. It's different movements make you feel, you know, just different ways. And it's really cathartic, I think. So
is there, I guess, is there like a flow, like a set of procedures? So like this is step one, or you just kind of just do what feels right?
I think it's mostly just getting comfortable with your prop at first and knowing how it feels in your hands, and then you kind of learn different movements. There's certain tricks that took me months and months to learn, but it was really just learning different angles, like because there's certain planes of movement. So like the fans themselves, when they're open, you know, they can either be flat this way, or they can be pointed out. So it's really just learning like the angles of all the placements and kind of like what that looks like. And then you can kind of develop your own style, which is really fun. But yeah, there wasn't really any procedure. It's just I knew a lot of people who were really into it, and they were like, you should try it. And I said, oh, okay, like why not, right? Yeah, but there's.
What would you say your own style is?
Sorry?
What would you say your own style is?
I feel like now my style is ever evolving, but like developing PenDragon is really about taking my creative side and my flow side and kind of mashing them together. So I've been experimenting with body paint, body art. I invested in a body painting kit so that myself and performers can really embody a character however they want to look, like, because it's everything. It's costuming, it's shoes, it's props, it's really just taking what you want to show the audience and make it come to life. So I felt like body painting was a great way for me to sort of express something a little bit different, So, yeah.
You mentioned hula hoop, the fans. What are some other props do you work with?
So those are the main two props that I work with. You could do 2 smaller hoops. I know
that one seems difficult.
It's really difficult, but I know my friend Nebula Flow Arts, her name is Jen. She uses 2 mini hoops, and she's so good. And I just I can't, just so many years of practice. I look at her and I'm like, wow, like you're so good. And like me, I'm pretty decent with the hula hoop, but she's just next level.
Yeah.
So
I went to an event and there was this performer that with the hula hoop, but it lights up.
Yeah.
And so, they had the lights down and then it's so colorful. Yeah. And I'm thinking, I didn't even think then you kind of have to plan everything. I just thought it was the movement or whatever. Mm-hmm. But thinking about it now, even the outfit they wore went with their hula hoop and the whole performance. So when it comes to things like, I remember seeing on your Instagram, you did a performance at the Emo Night, and it was
for Sarah, yeah.
It was
Umbreon.
No, it was the thing that you have to look at Pokemon.
Oh, the Pokemon, yeah.
What was the process of planning that outfit?
So I don't really know a lot about Pokemon,
yeah,
but
it
was I figured, my style is very dark, I wear a lot of black, I really enjoy it, but I figured the Pokemon that I could embody the most was Umbreon. So it looks like a little cat, and it's got yellow tipped ears and yellow circles on it. So I took cardboard paper and I spray painted it yellow, and I taped it to my bodysuit and my socks, and I did black face paint to here with a yellow circle on my forehead and white contacts, and I said, well, I'm just becoming a Pokemon now. So yeah.
And then the performance itself, how was it for you?
It was good. It was definitely a learning experience. It was the first time that I had ever been in the Marquee Ballroom, on the stage there. So it was just a new venue. I've been to the Marquee many times, but that was my first time on stage. So it was really just a learning curve, getting comfortable, knowing the space, how much space I did have. Where all the wires and everything were, because heels and footing is, sometimes I'm like Bambi on ice.
What would be the process, or how much work goes into preparing for a performance like that?
I think it depends on the theme of the show. Sometimes if it's a very kind of do what you want theme, you can dress however you want. Really, it's just artist choice. But I know I did a underground love affair with Danderson, and he does all kinds of queer shows in Halifax, and he's always such a pleasure to work with, one of my favorite humans. But he threw a holiday hoedown, so I ended up being a body paint of the Grinch.
Oh my really God.
Neat. So I had the big, long eyebrows, I had green contacts in, and I had little space buns with bells on them. So every time I'd shake my head, the bells would go. And then he did another show, Mean Ghouls, which was for Halloween. So it was Mean Girls, but make them spooky. So my friend Lumen and I did the Mean Girls. So we were dressed all in pink, really pale pink, and it was really funny. And all the drag performers were some form of Regina George or anything. So it was really nice. So it's really just kind of working with the theme, and sometimes it can get expensive for the clothing you get, but really it's all just repurposed and reused in different ways.
And the fans themselves, where do you get them? Do you make them or?
So they're these ones specifically are from Silk Electric. So she works out of Washington, and the process is you get the Habotai silk, which is 5 millimeters, so it's super thin. It'll just kind of like go with the wind really easily, and then she dyes them, hangs them to dry, and then attaches them to the bamboo staves. But you can get pretty much custom ones from Lunarwear. Chloe is based out of Lac La Birche, Alberta, which is a really great company to support. I always try to support Canadian companies when I can, but when I saw the Moon Mist fans, I was like, I was
like,
in love.
I want the ice cream.
Yeah, I did. And she said, what do you mean Moon Mist? What's that?
Oh.
And I'm like, oh, I forget that Moon Mist ice cream is a very like maritime thing. She had no idea what I was talking about. Yeah.
So now I guess it's PenDragon where your focus is and pen arts, or are you still working on both at the same time?
So it's a little bit of both. I feel like the body painting is more of the PenScratch paintings, just because it's more a little bit creative. And then PenDragon is purely just for flow performances.
Oh, okay.
But it kind of works one and the same because as PenDragon, I'm all body painted and stuff. So it's really great. So it's people want to hire me for flow performances, they have PenDragon. And then if they want like murals done, or if they want portraits or acrylic paintings or body paint or kids face painting or anything like that, they can just go to that instead of having it in one thing. I have like a double-sided business cards that I'm getting printed, so I can just be like,
oh, that's neat.
And then, bam, turn around and be like, not one, but two.
Yeah, no, that is cool. I didn't.
Yeah.
Whoa, okay, yeah, that's pretty neat. Okay, I guess it comes from all your creativity. So, now with, I guess, life getting back to normal and stuff, and events happening, and summer with the festivals and stuff coming. What are some of the things you have planned for the near future?
Sure. So the festival community really is near and dear to my heart. I've spent around 6 years offering like harm reduction and consent education through different people and different festivals. So that's kind of how I really gave back to the community. And like now as a performer, I'm sort of migrating from that sector into more of a creative outlet. But currently coming up, I do have an art battle on the 20th of January.
I think I've seen that on Instagram.
Yeah. So
it's like body painting, right?
So it's a 20-minute art competition. So there's going to be around 12 artists who come and they compete and do 20-minute paintings.
And then there's going to be like no, I'm mixing two things up. I'm sorry.
Okay. That's
I'm
okay.
sorry.
That's okay. There's so much going on. Yeah.
This one seemed so cool to me. So it was going to be, or it is like a body painting thing, and then the artists are gonna like display their work with the models walking on a runway.
Oh no, I'm not. I haven't really gotten to any like body painting like professionally yet. It's more so just for like friends and performers. It's still really low key. It's still very new.
Right.
Yeah, but I would love to get involved in something like that.
But with the art battle, is like just painting acrylic or?
So I'm gonna wear a I call it the rave suit. So it's a suit jacket and flare pants, and it's like multicolored, like this really weird like acid print, which is super nice. And then I'm gonna have like a paint dripping like down my body, kind of going to art battle. So just to make it like, super different, super unique. Just people go like that's wild.
The art battle itself, what is going to be done for the 20 minutes?
So we get a 16 by 20 inch canvas, an acrylic paint, and 12 artists compete in a 20-minute round to create whatever they want. And then it's judged by audience vote, and then the top 6 go and compete, and then the top 2 go on to compete interprovincially and then nationally and stuff like that.
Holy shit. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
You mentioned the date?
I think it's on January 20th at 7:30.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Frick, cool things happening in the city.
Yeah.
So now like I I'm gonna let you go, but not before you show me how these things work, if that's okay with
Absolutely.
you. But before we get into that though, one thing that comes to mind is like in your captions, something that kind of like filters through is like how important mental health is to you.
100%.
Why, and does the flow in any way help with that?
I think, my family struggles with a lot of mental illness, and I struggle with a lot of mental illnesses. And I see so many people that I've met from all walks of life who struggle. And I think it's very important that through COVID and through everything that we really have to get back to a sense of community. So I like to use my platform for the people who see it to really vocalize like how important it is to have self-care and how important it is to, not like taboo or like stigmatize mental health, because like everybody struggles, right? And everybody's valid. And, there's a community out there who's like willing to help you and who sees you for who you are and will accept you for that. So it is very important, like no matter where I go or who I am at the moment, like it's something that's very near and dear to me.
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, like I said, it shows through your writing. Talking about your writing and your Instagram, I mentioned when we started at the top of the show that I really love it. How do you navigate your social media? How do you decide what you share?
Yeah, I kind of wing it at the moment. I'm like, I could probably use a little help in the social media department, but I try to make genuine content. If I don't like something, if I think it's like it doesn't fit, or even if my mood that day, if I wasn't in a good headspace when I created it, like I don't want to put that out into the universe. Like I don't, because I'll see that and be like, oh, like that was a really bad day, or I felt not great. Like I want to put things out that I'm proud of, that have good energy, that I can share with people who can also, just really appreciate it.
Well, Lauren, it's always great talking to you. Okay, wait. I keep saying that's the last one, but this is it.
But wait, just one more, please.
But this is the last one though. What advice would you have to someone that wants to embrace their art or even turn it into a business like you did?
Yeah. I think go for it. I think that I really want to get away from the gatekeeping aspect of it. I think that art and flow and creativity is for everybody, no matter your skill level, no matter what you're doing. If you're doing it for fun or you want to do it professionally, I think reaching out, asking for tips, and really like building that community, because like the community is here to like welcome you with open arms, because movement is medicine and movement is for everybody.
Okay, that's the real last one now. Thank you so much,
You're
Lauren.
very welcome.